Your learning target today is for you to be able to explain how the events of September 11th, 2001 changed the United States. Protecting our homeland. To prevent future attacks, there have been many changes we live and travel since 9/11. At the end of 2001, the Department of Homeland Security was created to protect the U.S. from danger. Smuggling weapons. Before 9/11, security at airports was not tight. The hijackers had no trouble taking knives onto the four planes. They used their weapons to overpower the flight crews. Tight times. Now, travelers are inspected at airports. Travelers and their luggage are x rayed for weapons or liquids used to make bombs. Cockpit doors on airplanes are now locked so no one can break into where the pilots are. Security screening. Most government buildings in the United States now have metal detectors. Everyone must go through them before entering, and all items will be searched. Homeland borders. The Department of Homeland Security does their best to make sure no terrorists come into the country by crossing any of our borders. America's response. After the attacks on September 11th, 2001, the United States did the following. First, increase security in the United States. Then, searched for terrorists, formed alliances with other countries to fight terrorism, and finally, put American military in position for military action. In 2011, the September 11th Memorial was complete. It is a quiet and peaceful area where visitors can walk through lines of oak trees and listen to the waterfalls from the two fountains. These fountains sit on the footprints of the former Twin Towers. One World Trade Center. In 2014, One World Trade Center was finished. It is 1,776 feet tall. Its height refers to the year 1776 when America declared their independence from England. It stands as a patriotic symbol of hope and survival. It is the representation of a country that never stops moving forward. And that actually concludes our lesson for today and our unit on 9/11. Get your social studies workbooks and turn to page 1 assignment for today. How our lives changed after 9/11. America became much more cautious after the September 11th attacks. This caution brought about significant changes in the lives of average Americans. Those changes involve the military. The military is still fighting terrorism today. The involvement in Afghanistan turned into the longest running war in U.S. history. Although active combat in the country ended in late 2014, the U.S. still has soldiers there. U.S. troops were not pulled out of Iraq until 2011. The United States has also sent troops other places to fight against new terrorist threats since then. Air travel. Americans had to get used to long lines at airports. A new agency called the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, was formed to protect Americans traveling by air. One of their main roles is to check travelers' identification and inspect luggage to search for weapons and suspicious materials. Surveillance. In the years since the attacks, Americans have gotten used to much more surveillance by their national, state, and local governments. There are more security cameras everywhere. There are also new laws that allow more monitoring of activity that might be related to terrorism. Now we're going to do the fact or opinion activity in the middle. Write F next to factual statements about American life now. Write O next to opinion statements about American life now. Number one, the government has no business questioning travelers from the Middle East. So that is definitely an opinion statement. Everybody might not feel the same way about that. Number two, security cameras are more commonplace in big cities now. So that is a factual statement. We just read that increased security was one of the effects of 9/11. Number three, lines to check in at airports have gotten longer. That is also a factual statement. We just read that increased lines because of increased security was one of the effects of 9/11 as well. And number four, the war in Afghanistan was a big waste of money. So we're going to put an O there because that is an opinion. Everybody might not feel that way. On the very bottom, you're going to complete the express your opinion activity. Increasing security in America has caused some inconveniences. Check the things that you are willing to put up with to help protect our freedom. So I'm going to read these for you, and you just put a check if you feel like that's something that you would be personally be willing to put up with. Number 1, long lines at airports. 2, bomb sniffing dogs checking your luggage. 3, more armed guards. 4, having to show several forms of identification. 5, long lines to get into an amusement park. 6, being asked questions if someone is suspicious of you. And 7, not being able to carry coolers or backpacks into an event. Answer those questions, you are completely done with this lesson.